Hi everyone, it's the 30th of December. I'm Gary Waterman, a former UK police constable. Hopefully you'll all be aware of the unusual fog that's been happening right around the world now, certainly the UK and the US I've specifically seen videos of. Here are some articles you can see just by searching Google in relation to this. When you go onto TikTok, there's loads and loads of different videos of people saying they're concerned about it. When I first saw it on Boxing Day, I wasn't even aware of what anyone else was thinking, and I looked at it and thought, my goodness me, this does not seem normal. I've not seen anything like this in my life. It's very, very unusual. And you can see all of these articles, recent articles on it. So it's obviously something very unusual that's happening. Now, this is a video that was sent to me today. So I've just switched to the other ones because it's got the date in the corner. So this was sent to me by one of my contacts who had been sent it by one of their contacts. And I know about that original contact as well. I haven't verified what they've done. I can just show you what they're claiming from what they're doing. So this was sent to me today, the 30th, and it was supposedly done today. Let's watch this video.
I'm just doing a little experiment here. I'm getting some of this black dust from the car. Can't really see too much in this light, but I've had the torch on, and we've had the torch on it, but I just want you to see that, look, I am scraping closer. Just this black stuff, which I'm going to take home, collect it in that envelope, take home and get the magnet on it. It is coming off, it's going in the envelope. Alright then.
And here's a second video from the same person.
So we've collected up some bits from the car, scrapings off the car, some black dust. And I've got a magnet here. So let's see if it sticks to the magnet. It does. Oh, it does. Sticks to the magnets. Look, this is the neodymium magnet. This is just another magnet. It's on there. It's magnetic.
Hopefully most of you would have heard of the drone sightings around the world. This is a quick Google search in relation to it. You can see various articles in relation to it. Here's one, 16th of December 2024. Mysterious flying objects overheard. There's so many of them, particularly if you go on social media accounts, people actually videoing them in the sky, according to them, claiming to see many unusual flying objects around the world. I haven't seen them personally myself. Here's a video that I placed on my TikTok account maybe 2 weeks ago. Sorry, there's a duplication of symbols. That's because I took it from TikTok and re-put it on as another TikTok video so I could add my commentary. 15th of December 2024, I'm Gary Waterman, a former UK police constable that has irrefutable evidence of international government fraud that's been going on for decades and deliberately facilitates the most awful crimes against humanity, but in particular the children. Now, it's possible we have to consider that the drones are what's being used to cause this fog that has been happening in various places around the world, in collaboration with the chemtrails that appear to be being sprayed from commercial airlines as well. Now, I'd already previously linked Elon Musk to the international government fraud via the company's house registration systems and back to Exmoor Manor Freehold Limited, the company that I was part of, on where I had started to acquire the evidence in early 2022 and escalated my inquiries through 2022 into 2023. And this is these are articles on Google confirming or suggesting, shall we say, that Elon Musk's brother, Kimball Musk, purchased a drone company called Nova Sky Stories in around June or July 2022. And you can see an article here from 2022. So we now have this drone connection to the international fraud. As I'm making inquiries within my company, Elon Musk's brother Kimball buys this drone company. And of course, Late 2024 is when we're seeing these drone sightings all around the world, and a suggestion that they could be spraying potentially something harmful from them. So how does metal fragments alone affect the body? Well, according to this website, pmc.ncbi, down you can see it there, in small amounts they're required for maintaining good health, but in larger amounts they can become toxic or dangerous. Heavy metal toxicity can lower energy levels and damage the functioning of the brain, lungs, kidney, liver, blood composition, and other important organs. Now, if this the ability is now there to create nanoparticles, so tiny particles of metal that can be used in a spraying system, for example, then that has the ability to go between the blood-brain barrier, so to get from the breathing it in through into the blood and then through into every part of the body, including the brain. And of course, metal within the brain is known to affect have psychological effects, cognitive issues, but also cancer-forming properties when too much metal is within the body. So let's talk about microwave technology. So what happens to metal when you put it in a microwave? Well, you can see here that it can spark an arc. Okay, so it transfers the energy into a heat, which then generates sparking and arcing in the microwave. You can see various articles here. So the microwaves do not actually penetrate the metal. It transfers into a heat instead and reacts in not a very good way. You know, many of us have put spoons accidentally or forks into the microwave and seen how that reacts. So throughout the fraud over the last 2 or 3 years, 2.5 years or so, it's been very clear that there are connections to microwave radiation, or shall we say directed energy systems within the fraud. As I was starting to expose this, throughout 2022 into 2023, Nicola Bulley went missing in February 2023 in Lancashire. She was a lady that has proved very significant in relation to all of this, because the research around Nicola Bulley through the Companies House registration system and those around her linked to directed energy weapons that were being created by the government and the Ministry of Defence at the time, using various companies that link back to Exporn Manor Freehold Limited, okay? But it then also links into the mobile communication systems, the same companies, okay? And fraud throughout, don't forget. So there's no accountability and liability deliberately through the government's fraud that they have been creating these companies, illegal entity companies. So cell phone towers, do they use electromagnetic radiation? And you can see here a quick search of that. I've done a spelling wrong, but it still brought it up. Yes, cell phone towers utilise electromagnetic radiation, specifically in the form of radio frequency, RF waves, which is a type of non-ionizing radiation similar to radio waves and considered safe at the levels emitted by cell towers. However, concerns regarding potential health effects from prolonged exposure still exist in some communities. Now, of course, if the power is turned up in these towers and the technology they have in place, and there is metal within people's body, you can see where this could lead. There's another article here comparing the technology to microwaves themselves. Now, I've seen an article previously, I can't find it at the moment, from 2019, stating that a mast that had been installed in the UK in 2019, I believe, was believed to be potentially blamed for cancer occurring within several children within that school. I can't find that article, but I've literally just stumbled across this one, which is incredibly important. Bearing in mind, I have found recently the link to this international government fraud and the Church of England and the Vatican. This is an article that from 2010, you can see Vatican masts blamed for causing cancer in children. And going into the article, you can see here from 2010, in July, it says radio masts operated by the Vatican radio station are causing cancer in children. A medical expert has told a Rome court, resulting in 6 officials of the station being investigated for manslaughter. The claims of Professor Andrea Michelli from Milan's National Tumour Institute focused on 19 child deaths from leukemia or lymphoma between 1980 and 2003 in the Cesano area north of Rome. This is very, very important. Michelle, a professor of cancer epidemiology, says in his 300-page report and study, suggests there was an important, coherent and significant link between residential exposure to the Vatican radio structures and an excess risk of death. Now, this is very, very important because, obviously, the Vatican is now opening a set of doors over the Christmas and New Year period. And here are the articles in relation to that. So I now suspect that there is an even closer connection to the depopulation using the metal fragments. Now, initially I was thinking it was just going to be the radiation from the mast increased to such a level that it would affect everyone anyway, to be honest with you. But if there are metal fragments within the air, then of course that will have an even bigger effect on people if there's metal within people's bodies. So this is very important because I've recently connected the Church of England and the Vatican to the international government fraud, and it appears links to child trafficking, and now, which I didn't know about, was the connection to this potential risk to humanity. And of course, these people will know exactly what they're doing. And the Flemings within my company were the ones that ended up trying to remove, well, they did remove me as a director within my company. They are also connected to the church, okay, the Flemings. So this is very important. And the holy doors are being opened. I believe the last one is on the 5th of January, potentially. So I now believe this is very, very important. Here's the article of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, resigning. It's from this year, November 2024. Various articles, and I have already linked Justin Welby to this international government fraud and back into the Freemasons and to the Rothschilds and to Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited. Here's Wikipedia on electromagnetic radiation. You can pause it and read it if you want to. And we'll look at the biological effects from it. This is, remember, this is without the metal particles within the body. Biological effects. It says the effects of electromagnetic radiation upon living cells, including those in humans, depends upon the radiation's power and frequency. For low frequency radiation, in brackets radio waves to near ultraviolet, the best understood effects are those due to radiation power alone acting through heating when radiation is absorbed. For these normal effects, frequency is important as it affects the intensity of the radiation and penetration in the organism. For example, microwaves penetrate better than infrared. It is widely accepted that low frequency fields that are too weak to cause significant heating could not possibly have any biological effect. That, of course, is if they don't turn the power up to a certain level. Add the metal fragments into this, and of course, it's a different story altogether. You can just see here. I'll let you pause this and you can see it. The eyes are affected by radiation alone. And here we have a section on it being used for a weapon. Now, I know full well, as I said, around Nicola Bulley death, that they were creating a directed energy weapon using, I believe, the same type of technology. This is an article in relation to families having to stay indoors for 48 hours. This was an article posted yesterday morning. You can see left-hand corner there, 29th of December at 9:28. Now, Manchester had around 5 days of this thick fog very, very recently, and people are now being asked to stay indoors for 48 hours. I suspect this is a cover to the threat to what they are potentially intending to do. Now, this came to my attention months ago within the fraud, and I now suspect this is a very serious threat to mankind from these people. So I believe that you are all justified in disabling this technology as soon as possible. I advise everybody to disable these masks as a priority, okay? As a priority, and I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't think it was absolutely necessary. I believe these are a real threat to our children and to humanity. They've been rushing to put these masks in place around the world as I've been exposing my fraud. It's very, very clear. And they are there is no liability and accountability because the companies that are linked to them have no, they're fraudulent companies, okay? The government has created them fraudulently. I urge everybody to take action now and disable these. You are fully justified legally with the amount of evidence that is available to disable this technology and save your children and your families. This is a document that I had months ago, the supposed leaked Deagle depopulation or population report. Just looking at the UK as an example, it's right at the top here. The Deagle 2025 forecast says population 2017, 63 million. Population 2025, 14 million. A reduction of 77.1, I presume that's percent. Now, those that have sent me this suggest that it is an authentically leaked document. I urge you all, again, disable this technology now whilst you can. So, just to mention MKUltra, for those of you who don't believe it is true, mass experimentation on the public, including torture techniques, mind control, pharmaceuticals, radiation, which will of course include the masts, etc., subliminal messages. Here's an article in relation to it on Wikipedia. It also links in, you can pause this and slow it down. It's very relevant in relation to all of this. Links to the Nazis. Okay, and there's multiple connections now to everything I'm uncovering, to Germans, but also to the Egyptian pharaohs. And David Cameron's grandfather was actually involved in torture techniques against the public, according to the research. And David Cameron has been made a Lord and the Foreign Secretary as I have been exposing this fraud. So we are dealing with a very evil group of individuals, okay, who are enjoying the fact that they are causing suffering to millions. I urge you all to remove these masks as soon as possible. We'll have to deal with whatever comes after that, but I suspect this is now the most immediate threat against humanity. God bless you all. Bye.